Although no virtue should be wanting in her who professes herself and is entitled to call herself a spouse of Christ, yet it is the virtue of chastity which makes her most worthy and like to her spouse. For it is chastity which makes her spiritual and withdraws her from earthly corruption, elevating her to angelic life and to a certain resemblance of God himself. This virtue beautifies and adorns all the rest, raises the body to a higher existence, enlightens the mind, and preserves in the soul a nobility above all that is corruptible. Because this virtue was in an especial fruit of the redemption merited by my Son on the cross, where he paid for the sins of the world. Therefore, Holy Scripture expressly mentions that virgins accompany and follow the Lamb. The vow of enclosure is the wall of chastity and of all virtues, the preserve where they are nourished and expanded. It is a privilege granted by heaven to the spouses of Christ in religion, dispensing them from the burdensome and dangerous tribute which the freedom of the world pays to the ruler of its vanities. By this vow the religious live as in a secure port, while other souls navigate and are tossed about in the storms of a dangerous sea. With so many advantages, enclosure cannot be considered as a confinement in a narrow space, for in it are offered to the religious the spacious fields of virtue, of the knowledge of God, of his infinite perfections, of his mysteries, and of his benefits conferred on man. On such spacious grounds can a nun recreate and enjoy herself, and only when she fails in this enjoyment does she begin to feel narrow confinement in this, the greatest freedom. For thee, my daughter, let there be no other playground, nor do I wish to see thee confine thyself to so narrow limits as even the whole visible world. Rise up to the height of the knowledge and love of God, where there are no limits or confines to hold thee, and where thou canst live in unbounded liberty. From that eminence thou wilt see how small, vile, and despicable is all that is created, and how much too narrow it is to hold thy soul. To the necessary enclosure of the body, add also the restrictions of the senses, in order that, imbued with fortitude, they may preserve for the interior purity, and through it keep ablaze the fire of the sanctuary, which thou must continue to nourish and watch, lest it be extinguished. In order to better guard the senses and profit from the vow of enclosure, do not approach the portals, nor the speaking grate, nor the windows, and do not even remember that the convent is furnished therewith, unless it is required by some particular office or by obedience. Desire nothing, and therefore strive after nothing, and do not exert thyself for that which is not allowed thee to desire. In retirement, solitude, and circumspection wilt thou find peace. Thereby wilt thou give me pleasure, and merit for thyself copious fruit, and the reward of love and grace which thou desirest.